For our first story, we have girlfriend, 25 female, never wants sex with me, 25 male, should we break up? I 25 male and my girlfriend 25 female never have sex. When I say never, it's maybe once every 2 to 3 months. We have been together since we were in high school but only lived together for 2 going on 3 years now. I do all the cooking, cleaning, laundry, and pay all our bills. But she never wants to have sex anymore. And if we do, it's always me initiating it. It gets exhausting being the only one to even try, and when I do try, 99% of the time I'm rejected. Valentine's Day was recently and I went all out, got her 2 dozen roses, her favorite candy, and giant stuffed sloth, her favorite animal. And got up early before work and went to get her favorite Starbucks drink. I also had a nice candle-lit dinner set up for when she got home from work. I don't ever like to compare gifts, but she got me a pack of candy that she bought at Walmart on the way home, and gave it to me still in the Walmart bag, which made me feel like it was an afterthought by her. I also set up candles in the bedroom, and when I tried to initiate some intimacy after dinner, I was turned away again. I've tried talking to her about it, and every time she just cries and tells me, all I care about is sex, or, oh, I guess it's my fault. I don't want my relationship to end, but I'm starting to get to the point where I don't know what else to do. That's the end of our first post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, you want this relationship to continue? Our second commenter says, I'm gonna be honest, the comment section here is a little shocking. Even outside of the sex thing, it seems like she doesn't put much effort into the relationship. She showed up damn near empty-handed on Valentine's Day. You pay all the bills, put in the majority of the work around the house. Look, it could be that you aren't being honest about either of your respective contributions to the relationship, but if you are telling the truth, then you should probably break up. Not because she doesn't have sex with you, but because you deserve someone who puts effort into your relationship and each of your lives. Our third commenter says, I wonder if sloth is her favorite animal, because she's part sloth. For our second story, we have Mike, 29 female, fiancé, 34 male, says he won't forgive me if I go visit home while I am pregnant. Mike, 29 female, fiancé, 34 male, and I have been together for over 4 years and engaged for over 1 year. We still have not made any wedding plans, but we have talked about having children possibly soon. I am from Mississippi, but moved to be with my fiancé here in California, where we have lived for over 1 year. Last night my fiancé said that if I traveled home to see my family at all while I was pregnant and anything happened to the baby, he would never forgive me. He said I should not travel home to see my family at any point during pregnancy because Southern Hospital is not able to give the baby proper care. I did tell him that I would never travel if a doctor said it was risky at all, and I would only travel during a safe time period, like after the first trimester and before I was too pregnant. I asked him if I could travel anywhere else, and he said I could travel basically anywhere else in the world that wasn't like the South and was able to properly treat a pregnant woman. I do not know what to do. I understand that he is coming from a place of caring, but I am so sad to think that I could not go home to see my family while I was pregnant. Sometimes in our relationship I feel railroaded because he is so good at arguing and yet he has no experience with babies or pregnancy or any of this. I have been around babies and children my entire life. How do I move forward? That's the end of our second post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, if I was pregnant I would not go to Mississippi, scary place for a woman. Our second commenter says, his phrasing may have been harsh, assuming he said it the way you wrote it, but he's not wrong. If you're pregnant you should not travel to any of the states with draconian anti-choice laws. Our third commenter says, I started reading this thinking he was controlling, but he is literally just being safe and reasonable. You should not visit a state whilst pregnant if that state will let you die if you have a pregnancy complication. Mississippi also ranks wither last or nearly last in every single health outcome. I consider it kind of him to only leave you if something happens to the pregnancy while you are there. He could very well have told you that if you went there to visit, he would leave you. No one wants to be tied to someone who deliberately puts their life at risk. It's 9 months. They can visit you. For our last story, we have found out Mike, 27 female, husband, 26 male, has secretly spent all our savings, don't know if I can trust him anymore. My husband, 26 male, and I, 27 female, have been married for almost 2 years. Tonight, We had the worst fight we've ever had, and I'm seriously considering spending some time apart. We're both hard-working and financially stable, probably considered upper middle or upper class for our age. We paid for our wedding ourselves, and 4 years ago, we bought and renovated our own home. Money has never really been an issue in our relationship until recently. One of the reasons we've done so well is because we've always been diligent about saving. When we were aggressively saving for our wedding and home, we put away 30% of every paycheck. After the wedding, we agreed to a more manageable 20% savings rate to build up our emergency fund and plan for the future, kids, a new house, a new car, etc. I've stuck to that commitment. In fact, when my husband's car died unexpectedly, I covered the full cost of a replacement without needing a car payment. When our HVAC system failed, I paid for that too. Despite these big expenses, I still managed to keep up my savings and have a solid emergency fund. Tonight, I found out my husband has saved nothing. We've always had a system. His steady paycheck covers our monthly bills, and since I freelance, my income goes toward bigger expenses like student loan payments and unexpected costs. It's worked well, or so I thought. When I asked him why he hasn't saved anything, his excuse was that he's always paying off the credit card, which, for the record, only he uses. I went through our budget, and based on his income, he should have at least $3,000 left over every month after covering expenses. So I asked, "Where's that money going?" He had no answer. So I checked his statements, and what I found was infuriating. Nothing that suggests cheating, gambling, or anything extreme, but reckless, obscene spending. We've had serious conversations about his spending before, and almost a year ago, I made it very clear that he needed to stick to our financial plan. Not only did he break that promise, but he's also somehow spent more than he earns, dipping into our savings. I'm ambitious and goal-driven. I dream big, and we've always talked about our future, where we see ourselves in 5 or 10 years. He's been especially eager to start trying for a baby, and while I've been on the fence, I recently came around to the idea. Until tonight, when I realized we have almost no savings. Now, the timeline for having a child? Delayed. The plan to move out of a town we both hate? Out the window. I feel completely blindsided and betrayed. He's made multiple promises he hasn't kept, and when I confronted him, his solution was to put half of his yearly bonus into savings, even though we already agreed that bonus would go toward paying off his massive student loans. At this point, I don't just feel disappointed, I feel disrespected. I don't understand why he went behind my back like this, or why he thought I wouldn't notice. I've lost so much trust in him, and I don't know how to move forward from here. Would time apart help? Can trust even be rebuilt after something like this? I'm at a complete loss. TLDR. My husband, 26 male, and I, 27 female, have always prioritized saving for our future. But tonight I discovered he has saved nothing while I've been covering major expenses. He makes enough to save at least $3,000 a month, but instead, he's been recklessly spending and even dipping into our savings. This isn't the first time we've had this issue, and I feel completely betrayed. Our future plans, having a baby, moving, are now on hold. I don't know if I can trust him anymore, and I'm considering time apart. Where do I go from here? That's the end of our last post. Let's see what the commenters had to say. Our first commenter says, "It's hard to respond, given you haven't said what he's been blowing thousands on every month without that being noticeable to you. Something's weird about this story." Our second commenter says, "Your spouse is supposed to have $3,000 a month after bills and they have $0. They have been overspending so much that it's dipped into your combined savings? Which has gone on for months. Lack of impulse control is a big problem. Setting back all your goals. This is financial infidelity, which is when someone hides financial information or makes financial decisions without their partner's knowledge. It can include hiding debts, spending habits, or bank balances." Our third commenter says, "As someone who works in the legal industry, I would simply divorce him. Better to do it while there's no joint savings to be split, rather than saving up a large pool of money and then having to fork over half when divorcing him down the line. Personally, I'd be filing the paperwork ASAP because I wouldn't want to stay married and have to clean up his mess while running the risk of him getting into debt that I'd be responsible for paying off, or accumulating a large savings pot he'd be entitled to half of. Right now you have no marital assets outside of the cars and the house. That makes it rather easy, if you ask me. The trust is already damaged and you can't mother him into being a proper, responsible adult. You're young, cut your losses. That's all for today. If you enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.